She was one of the most high-profile, influential first ladies in history. She championed causes, defended her husband in public, and behind the scenes, a president's indispensable partner. President Reagan called on her in his final speech.
Before I go, I would like to ask the person who has made my life's journey so meaningful, someone I have been so very proud of over the years, to join me. Nancy.
It was the story of their marriage, a love story that began during the 1956 film Hellcats of the Navy.
I was afraid you wouldn't come.
Continued as Reagan entered politics, first as governor of California.
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear.
And Nancy was by his side when Reagan was sworn in as the 40th president in 1981. She had elegance, and Reagan's signature cause, the Just Say No campaign, to fight alcohol and drug abuse among teens. When President Reagan was shot barely 2 months into his presidency, his first thoughts were Nancy. I opened my eyes once to find Nancy there. I pray I'll never face a day when she isn't there. After that, she became fiercely protective of her husband.
I was a very good worrier.
Did he know how much you worried?
I think so. He would refer that to me often.
Sometimes clashing with top aides. They thought she was too controlling. Occasionally, she spoke for him.
Doing everything we can.
Doing everything we can.
The couple had 2 children between them and helped raise 2 children from Reagan's first wife. After the former president revealed in 1994 that he had Alzheimer's disease, Nancy's hardest years. But he was worried about you in these years and how painful it would be.
I know.
Has it been as painful as he feared?
Well, it's not a wonderful time.
She gave an emotional tribute at the 1996 Republican convention.
So let me close with Ronnie's words, not mine.
Their legacies forever linked.
Never forget your heroic origins, never fail to seek divine guidance, and never, never lose your natural, God-given optimism.
And we are joined now by Barbara Walters, who knew Nancy Reagan so well. Great to see you this morning.
Nice to see you, George.
Barbara, you had actually spoken to Nancy Reagan in the last year.
Well, we did. I mean, we saw each other. She was fragile, according to her daughter, in poor health, but the mind was good. I mean, and if she telephoned you or if you called her, you couldn't get off the phone.
She loved the phone, didn't she?
Loved the phone, loved to talk, loved the gossip, but also was a very serious person. I mean, we've talked a little bit, you and I, about how everybody wanted her endorsement. This is Nancy Reagan, not Ronald Reagan, but they wanted her saying, "You're the one I want."
Yeah, they knew in all the years after President Reagan left the White House, Republican politicians would want to go to her and get the hands on the blessing. Exactly.
Yeah.
And tell us about, you saw them together so many times. One of your most memorable interviews was at the ranch, their ranch, back in 1981. What were they like together?
It's not just that they loved each other, they adored each other. I mean, we used to make fun of her face. I don't know whether I can do it. He would make a speech and she would go, no matter how many times she could. Yeah. It was a love affair that continued, and I think she took care of him when he had Alzheimer's. She was with him all the time. Her life revolved around him.
And those Alzheimer's years, so sad for her, because the man she knew was slipping away.
But she was there. She was there. She took care of him. She didn't leave his side. It was very sad. It was what she would call, or what somebody called, the long goodbye, because he had Alzheimer's for quite a while. And
her legacy quite long as well. She spoke out on so many issues, on breast cancer, on Alzheimer's, the Just Say No campaign.
Especially on the breast cancer, and I know you'll be talking about it in other ways. She made women go and get mammographies. She made women be aware of self-examination. She did some very serious things. She did the Just Say No, which somehow or other worked out. Is that enough? But to a lot of people it was.
How will you remember her?
I think she brought an elegance to the White House. Not that it hadn't been before, but Rosalind Carter lived a simpler lifestyle. And there was an elegance, there was a charm. She brought wonderful artists to the White House. And I think that's what I will remember most, is that she was a dignified, elegant woman, a credit to her husband's legacy.
Barbara Walters, thank you.
Thank you, George.